Hello and welcome back to the NFL DFS slate breakdown for Thursday night football. We got the Dolphins versus the Bills. It's going to be an interesting one. There's definitely a lot of different ways to go for this Thursday night slate. Now, before we get into it, I'm your host, Tyler Weeman, and come join us at LINESTAR. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all. Also have a free trial. If you've never tried LINESTAR out, come give us a try for free. Give us a review. Tell us how much you like us, and then stay for a while. $39.99 per month. Now, let's get into it. Quick kind of review on the slate. If you already watched the prop show, I'm sorry. You're going to hear it twice a little bit, but 49.5 game total. Bills, huge favorites. Dolphins are 12.5-point underdogs. And then injury situation, Jalen Wright is off the injury report. He is going to play. Malik Washington is the same. Jalen Waddle is questionable. The big news on the injury front is really on defense. The Bills are missing several guys or questionable. Matt Milano, Ed Oliver are out. Then they have issues in the secondary. Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis questionable, and Shaq Thompson questionable. On to the other side, and the Dolphins, they also have some issues on the defensive side of the ball with Storm Duck, and then also a safety out. Then Benito Jones, Chop Robinson questionable, along with Jalen Waddle. Now, let's get to the slate itself. And as always, we're going to go position by position here to break it down as a whole, starting with the quarterback spot. No surprise that Josh Allen is the high-owned quarterback, but both will garnish plenty of ownership. Allen will have a lot of captain ownership or MVP ownership as well. We got a 14.48 point projection. Consensus is right there with them. No surprise that Josh Allen is an absolute stud. The one thing, though, is that he has those huge outlier games in competitive games where he is forced to be running the ball at the goal line. This game just does not project for that. He projects a little bit more of a passer, probably won't rush quite as much in this spot, and therefore I don't love him as a captain. The rushing quarterbacks are the only ones I personally play in the captain, and I think if you are going to be playing him in the captain, you need to definitely have some Miami pieces, because the way he is captain is if, two of Waddle, Achane, and Hill go off. I think that's the way he's the captain. If not, probably better having a playmaker in the captain spot. And I expect Josh Allen to be able to pick it apart as far as passing. Then you got Tua. Tua's in a very tough spot. He got crushed week 1, only put up 8 fantasy points, bounced back versus New England, whose D does not look too great right now either, with 315 yards and 2 tutties. Now, the Bills defense is at least a little bit banged up, so maybe the Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball a little bit, which could possibly open things up for the passing game. But all in all, it's a very tough matchup for him. So far, Bills only allowing 146 passing yards per game over the last 4. That's up to just shy of 200. But all in all, they've been pretty tough versus the rush. Versus the pass. They have let quarterbacks rush. But Tua, at this stage in his career, with his concussion history, is not going to be much of a passer or a rusher. I would not be using him at all in the captain spot. I would expect Hill, Achane, or Waddle to be needed if Tua is able to put up a decent day. Now let's get over to the running back spot. High owned is James Cook, and he should be, but Devon Achane is certainly in the realm and needs to be considered. Our projection does favor Cook. I think he has a much better chance of finding the end zone in this game, But the consensus does have Achane as the higher projected play. Now, I think Achane's floor is just gigantic because of his receiving chops. He had 10 targets, 8 receptions for 92 yards to go along with 30 yards rushing last week. And then the week 1, 75 total yards, 3 receptions, and a tutty. He can bust a big play from anybody. Absolutely need to consider him, and consider him in the captain spot as well. James Cook, we don't need to go into that too much, but dude has been a beast, has found the end zone 3 times in 2 games and has just been great so far. Now, the thing with the Bills and their running back room that I do find interesting is it's not, while Cook has been putting up huge numbers and it's been really workhorse type numbers, his snap counts still aren't that high. I mean, it's 47% snap counts last week, 56 in week 1. You have Ty Johnson, you have Ray Davis, all kind of sprinkling in. Now, if this game is a blowout, I would expect Ray Davis to get some run like he did last week, where he got 9 carries and 24 rushing yards. Now, if one of those goes for one of those gets in the end zone and he instantly becomes optimal at his price, then Ty Johnson is always a threat to in the passing game to just break one for the end zone. I would prefer to use Ray Davis, but Ty Johnson is absolutely in the realm of possibility to be a play that you could need. Now I'm getting over to the wide receiver room. So the interesting thing about this wide receiver room to me is the difference of snaps from week 1 and 2 from these Bills. So last week, 58% snap count from Palmer, from Coleman, from Shakir, then 46 from Moore, and Shavers even sprinkled in a little bit. Then if you looked at week 1, it's Coleman and Shakir running a ton, and then Palmer still around like 50-ish%. Now, what we saw in week 2, it was a blowout, so maybe that had something to do with it. But what we saw in week 2 was more like what they did last season. So we need to decide, is that how it's going to go? More like last season? Or are they committing to Coleman, Shakir, Palmer as the primary 1, 2, 3? And, then just barely using Moore / Shavers. All 3 are absolutely interesting in this game using the Bills. Even 4, I think you could throw Moore in there as a break in case of emergency leverage, $3,600 pick. He did get an end zone. He had 2 carries, 1 target for 31 yards. Targets in both games. It just, does it happen in the end zone or not? But the other 3, Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, all in play. Coleman leads the team so far in wide receiver snap count with 113, with then Shakir at 97 and 91 for Palmer. And then target wise, Coleman also leads the team in targets with 14, 12 to Palmer, 11 to Shakir, and 10 to Dalton Kincaid at the tight end position, who has been a consistent option. Now, the thing with Kincaid is he's only playing like 50%. We'll get to that in a second. On the Dolphins side of the ball, you got Hill and Waddle, and then way down, you got Malik Washington. So Hill and Waddle gonna run a ton of the routes, gonna be on for 80+% of the snaps. Malik Washington has averaged about a 60% snap count. He's going to be out there. You can use him, but he hasn't been too involved unless he breaks one in the return game, or it's a broken play. The likelihood of getting him getting an end zone or having a big game is slim, but he is out there, so you need to consider it. Waddle and Hill firmly options for a captain spot. Buffalo Bills wide receivers, not so much. Also, should be mentioned once again that Jalen Waddle is dealing with a bit of an injury. He is questionable, and we do have to watch. He has some sort of a shoulder injury. The man seems like he gets hurt every single game. Had a solid game last time out with 568 and a tutty. And he's been better in outdoor games thus far in his career. Getting over to the tight end position. The Miami tight ends we can kind of forget about. Julian Hill and Connor both in about 50% of their snaps. The problem is that they just don't really get targets. The reason you're using them is purely as a touchdown play. Tanner Connor does have 4 targets on the season, where Julian Hill has 0. So if you are considering 2 of them, I would probably go with the cheaper $800 Connor, who at least had 4 targets and 2 receptions for 20 yards in week 1 at Indianapolis. Outside of that, there's been no other targets to the tight end. So I don't think we really have to consider them. It's purely as a last guy in. We need a leverage play and hope he gets a touchdown. On the Bills side, similar, whereas Kincaid and Knox are both in 50% of the snaps, or roughly 50%. And so far, Kincaid has 10 targets to Knox's 7. Both are being used. Both can be considered. Knox is the safer play Kincaid is the safer play, as he generally is right around that 8-10 point range. He gets 3-4 receptions for 40 yards, and that's just kind of what he does game in and game out. Doesn't get a touchdown that often, though. Knox doesn't get as much work. His targets are lower, but still has some touchdown upside and is cheaper. The reason you're taking him is just because he's cheaper and you want that end zone action. Now, getting over to the defensive side of the ball for these 2 games, firmly on the Buffalo Bills defensive side. Dolphins have not shown the ability to be able to stop absolutely anyone. They gave up 33 points to both the Colts and the Patriots, and I can't warrant playing them whatsoever. The only reason you play them is you're hoping for a special teams touchdown or just a wildly horrible Josh Allen throw that gets picked off and goes for 6. That is the only reason to play that defense. On the Bills side of the ball, there is upside. Ed Oliver was out last week and they still shut down the Jets. They're able to get some pressure that can definitely cause some issues for Tua. So wheels up about playing the Buffalo D. I don't mind it. They are getting after the quarterback. They have 1.5 interceptions, 0.5 fumbles per game so far, and Tua can definitely cause some turnover. So don't mind going that way with the Bills D. And then on to the kickers. Kickers this day and age, you got to consider. I mean, they're hitting 60-yarders with regularity this year with this new kicking ball. And so far, Prater, 14 and 12. Both numbers at 5K makes a ton of sense. I don't mind going there whatsoever. And then Riley Patterson was the kicker last week with Jason Sanders out. I think if he's the kicker, you can absolutely consider him. If it is Sanders, then he's fine. Oh, he is on injury reserve. So yeah, it's going to be Patterson going, and I don't mind having some Patterson. Most likely situation is the Dolphins will struggle a little bit in the red zone, and with that, wheels up for Patterson kicking some field goals. It's just how many field goals are they able to get is the big question. And that will do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys have a great afternoon, and good luck with your DFS Thursday night lineups. Oh, hey, sorry, Drew. I just saw your question here. Should I trade CD, Myers, Kamara for Amon-Ra, Ladd, James Conner, and Ramondre? I'm assuming Jacoby Myers. Let me know if there's something else there, if it's somebody else. But I would do that deal. Amon-Ra, Ladd, and James Conner. I don't care for Kamara much. He's going to give you a floor, but there's not much ceiling on this offense. Myers, solid floor, not much ceiling. CD obviously is amazing. But yeah, I would take the Amon-Ra side of that. Trade Henry and London for Chase and Achane. Yes, I would do it. I would much rather Jamar Chase and Achane over London and Derrick Henry. All right, guys, that'll do it for us today, guys. You all have a good one. Talk to you later. Peace.